Silver versus uranium. Fight! They are battling it out at the moment. We'll take a look at both of their prices and see which one could win in the end. And we'll take a look at gold and platinum. We'll take a look at Bitcoin, crypto, digital assets, including some of my favorites as well. Yeah, and just have a good old live chat. If you're watching this on the replay, use the time codes below to go to your favorite part. But if you're watching live, yeah, you really get to enjoy every single thing we do here at Good Morning Stackers with me, Joe Main. But please grab your tasty beverage, because what we do is the synchronized slurp. When we go live on a Tuesday and a Thursday, we slurp our beverages together. I know some people don't like the slurp feature. It is my calling card. Like 5% of you get icky. Well, this isn't for you. Whatever you're drinking, let me know in the comments right now. You must do it audibly. You must slurp it. It's the slurp heard around the world. Ready? 3, 2, 1, go. Good to see you, people. We're going out live on X and on YouTube. We'll get some shout outs, of course, going on. If you can do me a huge favor, head over to x.com/itsjoemain. It's like, why would you even want to do that? Well, because I have nearly 4,000 followers over there, and I go live over there and I talk about throughout the week, etc. I do lots more than just this kind of stuff, and what you need to see me do is update that so I can go trendy on YouTube, on X as well. And of course, we'll do some shout outs here. I'm Joe Main. I've been a stacker of precious metals since 2010, a stacker of crypto since 2013, and into stocks and all that kind of stuff too. I also have my brand new private silver investor club. So if you head over there, and I'll show you right now, why would you want to go over there? Well, look, while we wait for people to roll in, it's the private silver investor club, okay, right here. And we do weekly specials on silver. So, for example, let me show you right here, my wonderful people. If you take a quick look at this, this is the Silver Investor Club. It is a private club for new and veteran silver investors. Exclusive bullion deals, giveaways, price analysis, Q&A, live stream hangouts, and much, much more. I'll put a link somewhere below, and if someone wants to find the link to it, you can pop it in the chat as well. But, for example, we do a Friday morning stream. Find it. Well, someone wants to request. Someone's another. There you go, Daniel. Another member right there. We do the hangout stream on a Friday. Ricky from Perth Bullion Exchange joins us, and this week we have a spot silver special. I don't even know if it's still available. Are there any more left? Yeah, you've got 68. Still in stock. This is where you can buy 3 ounces of silver for spot price, okay, because you're a member of my private silver investor club, okay? So you can go and join. I'll accept your thing, and then you can go and grab that. Don't be that guy and just go and get one and then leave the club. You're actually joining the silver investor club because you're a silver investor and you want to be with like-minded people. But that's the special at the moment. I'll put a link somewhere below. Of course, the show is also brought to you by Perth Bullion Exchange, perthbullion.com.au, Mastering the Markets, masteringthemarkets.com. I'm doing their year-long comprehensive trading course. It's going really well so far. Loving it. And of course, Stormrake, stormrake.com, your full-service cryptocurrency brokerage. You get 33% off their fees for life. Get 2% brokerage fees instead of 3% for the life of the account, okay, when you sign up through me. It's a great idea. We'll explain more later on down the track. Let's get some shout outs out the way and say hello to everyone. Wow. And should I say a big welcome to the 146 new subscribers since my last video. So, or the one before that, it was entitled 9 Amazing Silver Stocks, and that's had nearly 5,000 views, or just over 4,000 views, which is a lot for my channel, and it's done great guns and like nearly 150 new subscribers. Welcome to all of you right now. Pete Repeat says, hi, Joe and gang. Good to see you, my friend. Infrastructure projects facilitating will most likely move as well. You just get straight into the crypto talk, don't you, my friend? Two more days till Powell at the podium. Yes, with all eyes on. Expect markets to react and react. They will. The question becomes then: is it pretty much all priced in? And generally, they do get priced in. Okay, so I think the markets are very much betting on the rate cut happening. Probably maybe get a little bit of a blip up if they say, okay, we're lowering interest rates by 25 basis points, which is 0.25%. then yeah, you might see a bit of a thing, but I think it's pretty much priced in. You never know. It could even go the other way. It's like, buy the rumor, sell the news kind of thing. But having said that, I can imagine if they say, this is it's only the beginning, right, of that, then you could see a decent pump. I'm going to be talking with Bisha from Stormrake, doing an interview with him tomorrow. I might see if we can push that back to see what the Fed does before that. Anyway, we'll see. Let's see. GMS Silver is where the gentlemen are as altcoin season now rears its head at the very beginning. Bags packed, blah, blah, blah. Silent Stacker. Good morning, Stackers. Good to see you, my friend. Mr. Happy Stacker 69, dude. But it's evening here. Good to see you, my friend. Space Miner. Space Miner joined us on the live stream, on the private live stream. Good to see you, friend. Let's get into it. Let's talk about silver versus uranium. Okay, we want to see which one potentially could win out in the end. I think they're both going to do incredibly well, but will one possibly outperform the other? The reason I'm talking about it is because uranium had about a 9% move overnight on the US markets. So I just want to show you the ratios against silver and see where we are, okay, and see who's currently winning at the moment and who can still potentially win. Now, as you know, I have the Silver Investor Club, so I'm so bullish on silver, but there might be periods where other assets in those general commodity basket start to outperform silver as well. So you've always got to look at the other side of the coin. I think silver will probably win in the end, but let's take a look anyway. I'll show you the silver price. Let's go here. Is the price of silver on the weekly time frame, priced in USD, $42.60. We had a move of around about 2%, roughly. I have been saying it's just starting. The momentum's just waning a little bit, okay? Although, you know what? This was before. Yeah, on that 4 hour, it's kind of still giving me the waning vibes a little bit because you've got this higher high still in play at the moment. It's still playing out. Okay, as I said, silver can go higher from here, $43, $44, $45, maybe even all the way up to the $50 all-time high before it has a bit of a break. Okay, but what you would want to see, or not want to see, I should say, if you don't want to see lower prices, let me start that again. What you're noticing here is some higher prices in fiat dollar, dirty fiat dollars, but then an equal or lowering low on the relative strength index that might signal some bearish divergence. It hasn't played out just yet, so you maybe have some room to move. What would tell me it's going to head down further from here is if we start to pivot from here. What pivot means is that if you get a couple of more days, maybe today, tomorrow, the next day, of downward movement, then you can say that's a pivot right there. And if we notice some bearish divergence on the 4 hour, for example, then you could say, okay, you've got to wait for the next pivot point is the short answer. So don't know yet, but it's looking good so far. It's making higher highs and higher lows for silver. Very bullish on it on the long term. But so it had roughly about a 2% move. Let's take a look at uranium. Uranium had a 9.5% move overnight. This is the URA, so this isn't the spot uranium. This is the spot uranium physical trust. So that one had, what did that one have? That had a 5.4% move. Okay, so that's still pretty decent for spot uranium, but the uranium miners had a 9.35% move. Okay, so that's even outperforming the spot itself. So look at this. We've been showing you this for a long time. Look at this on the quarterly time frame. It's just looking absolutely brilliant. Okay, that's on the logarithmic scale. That's on the linear scale. Okay, this is just moving out of its accumulation phase and it's heading into its public participation phase. Markets work in 3 phases: accumulation, public participation, and then the excess phase, which is like every man and his dog is getting in. It's that blow off top euphoria thing. Okay, so what we've done here is we've had this very nice accumulation. Okay, you can see that very clearly. That's for, well, let's see, since about 2020. July of 2020, we had that move here, and now we're moving into the public participation phase, which is generally the move that goes for the longest and it's the highest moves as well. So you've only just broken out. So you've got a lot of room to move. Even if you get up to here, that's round about a doubling in the uranium miners index. Okay, and that's just a basket of uranium miners, where individual uranium miners can go way, way further that in terms of their percentage growth. Okay, so uranium, very, very bullish on it over the longer term. Okay, very bullish on silver, very bullish on uranium, particularly uranium miners. So let's take a look now at a couple of ratios. So I'm going to take a look at uranium versus a couple of things. Let's see. Go to my uranium versus Remex, uranium versus silver. So here is, now this is the uranium miners versus the silver spot price. The main one I want to show you today in a second is going to be the uranium junior miners versus the silver junior miners. That's at an interesting point right here. So you can see definitely not outperforming over the longer term just yet. The silver spot price. You've had a nice little move here, and that's going to be, oh yeah, there we go. Let's pop that on the, there we go. That's on the quarterly time frame. We might go to the monthly. Yeah, that's a little bit better. Almost breaking out here. We're not out of the woods yet, but if I do from this low and this high, have we come down to a key Fibonacci zone? From this low and this high, bang on. As you know, we talk about the 0.618. Okay, we talk about the zag zone right here, and that's anywhere between the 0.618 and the 0.382. We have hit it. It isn't amazing. You have to understand, this isn't fiat dollar price. This is a ratio of a basket of goods versus, it's just crazy how this works. You therefore know that very large institutions, people with much, much deeper pockets than you and I are watching these ratios, okay, and they're playing them because someone's watching this going, okay, uranium had a great move, then it faffed around for a while. We got up to this previous resistance right here. Oh, gee, that happens to be from this high and this low. Oh, that happens to be the 0.236 Fibonacci. These are all things that people watch, so they place their trades accordingly. So therefore, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. That's how it works. It's not necessarily magical stuff. It's just, self-fulfilling. Cool. So then the big institutions are going, wow, that's pretty overvalued now. I think I might, swap it for silver. Okay, so they do that, and they go, I'm going to get back in if it finds support right here at the 0.618 at previous support right there as well. Right. Bingo, banga, bongo, previous support zone, and then it's the 618 from this low and this high, and you've seen that beautiful move. That was back in April. Okay, so very smart people saw that support right there. Now you're coming up very clearly to this very key area right here at it's around about 1.1 on the ratio. Okay, so right about there. If you can clear through about 1.0, again, on uranium miners versus spot silver, okay, then I'd say it's looking really decent for a continued outperformingness for uranium. Now, am I telling you, geez, you should swap all your silver for uranium mining stocks? No, just keep buying silver. We're silver investors here, okay? But it's interesting if you've got spare dry powder and you're thinking, oh man, I've got a lot of silver. You can never have too much silver, but I think I want to dip into the stock market. What's outperforming silver? Because here's the big thing. If you're so bullish on silver, why buy anything else unless it's outperforming silver? So that's why you look at these ratios. Okay, let's see, from this high and this low, are we through the zag zone? And yes, we are through that zone here. From this high and this low, we're through the, where are we? From this high and this low, that's the 0.236. It's the 0.618. So if I get rid of this for you for a second, you can see from this high and this low, we're just getting through. Where is it? Excuse me, and I'll get rid of that too. There you go, from that high and that low. Oh, okay, I see what I did there. Excuse me 1 second, and I'll get rid of you too. So if I go from this high and this low, yeah, you can see we're also getting through the 0.618, its zag zone as well. So uranium currently having a nice little run versus spot silver. Okay, if it can clear and hold above that 1.10, you're looking pretty good for a continued move higher. Again, uranium miners versus spot silver. Now let's take a look at uranium versus the silver, uranium miners versus the silver miners. Okay, URA/SIL. First time taking a look at this one here. Now, you can see a bit of a difference here. You can see that the silver miners are still quite outperforming the uranium miners. Let's take a look from this low and this high. Once again, Fibonacci for the win. Interestingly, why did it didn't find support here? Okay, so look, there's that major support zone. Again, you're looking at uranium miners versus silver miners, okay, or the large caps versus the large caps. So large cap uranium miners versus large cap silver miners, okay. It didn't find support there, so the buyers didn't step in here. So it went lower and it went right back down to the 0.5 Fibonacci, which is this previous level of support. So finding support perfectly right there as well. Bounced off, found exact resistance at the 0.236 from this low and this high. Okay, so it looks like silver miners are still decently outperforming uranium miners. Okay, so uranium looks like it's starting to outperform more the silver spot, but versus the silver miners, not doing as well. Okay, so silver is still the clear winner in all this, but I'm just showing you some signs that potentially that uranium might have a decent move, but I would need to see it bare minimum. Let's have a look here. For that to continue, I would need to see it bare minimum clear through. Yep, right here. And that's at that previous resistance. Can you see that? So right there, the previous resistance zone, and that's at the 9.9 mark. Again, uranium miners versus major silver miners. And the big one I want to show you, because I am very bullish on junior silver miners. I'm also very bullish on junior uranium miners. So this is one I shared here on the Mastering the Markets, masteringthemarkets.com Academy website. I put it in the free section. You can join for free, academy.masteringthemarkets.com. So I did put it in the public section, but there's a lot of back-end stuff like the educator calls and all that stuff. Sign up. It's free to join, and then you might want to pay for the main thing. But I did this one right here. Let me show you. And I'll give you my final opinion in just a second. Here is uranium junior miners versus silver junior miners. And you can see very clearly silver is still winning, because as this is going down, the silver junior miners are outperforming the uranium miners. Okay, so very easy to see, very much on a downtrend. Okay, lower highs, lower lows. Okay, we might be coming to a potential reversal here. Definitely not saying it's doing it, but just keep your eyes out for it. Why? Well, you've had bullish divergence on the weekly time frame that may have fully played out yet, but we've got bullish divergence. We've got a lower low and a higher low on the relative strength index. My issue with it, though, is that the volume hasn't been keeping up with it. So the volume's really quite low. So that's the thing that's why I'm saying very likely silver's still continuing to be the winner, but just keep your eye out on this. We're through. We're nearly just through. We're testing the support level here. Once again, from this low and this high, we came back down to test the 618 Fibonacci. That is a weak bounce. Okay, so it's not perfect. It is a weak bounce, so just watch out for it. Okay, and a clear sign that uranium junior miners will probably outperform silver junior miners for a good period of time is if you break up through this decline right here, the downtrend line, and particularly through this support zone right here, and that would be a bullish change of market structure on the weekly time frame. So what that means would mean is that instead of lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, right? If it does that, it'll make the very first higher high on the weekly time frame. That is a bullish change of market structure. That's also what's called a failure swing pattern, where you have successive lower highs, lower lows, then you do that, and then you break through. Okay, that will be very bullish, and that's about that 1.5 mark. So this is a ratio I'm watching very closely, because I'm into both. I'm in silver, I'm in uranium, and I'm looking to see which ones I can capitalize on more. So with that overnight move in uranium, just really watching it. Now, definitely not out of the woods here. You can see maybe on the daily time frame, you've got a bit of bullish divergence still happening here. On the daily, lower high, higher low on the relative strength index. I will also say that the volume is looking a little bit better over the last number of days as well. So on the weekly, the volume doesn't look very good, but on the daily, it's looking a little bit better. Okay, you're seeing that lower price there, but a higher low on the relative strength index, on the OBV as well, and the relative strength index. So that's good. Okay, if we can get through, I'll tell you, in the interim, I know I'm spending a lot of time on this, but I find this stuff really fascinating. We'll get to gold and platinum, etc. Yeah, I would actually really say that you'd be really looking for uranium junior miners and uranium in general to wake up if you can get through that level there at about 1.4. So that might be your first kicker, but ultimate confirmation is getting through 1.5 right there. So that's uranium juniors versus silver juniors. And I just want to show you the flip side as well, because my ultimate answer is silver juniors, and silver is currently still beating the hell out of uranium. Okay, just got to watch out for those signs of a turnaround. But you can see here, this is the flip side of that. This is just literally that ratio inverted. Okay, and you can clearly see that we've got higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows. We have rejected here. This is the normal place again. You are expected to reject. Okay, what you don't want to see, if you want silver to continue to outperform uranium, because you don't have any exposure to uranium, whatever, you don't want to see that crack through there. That would be a bearish change of market structure. It's just the inverse of the one I showed you before. And if you want silver to continue to outperform uranium, you just want this to finally break through that level there, and then onwards and upwards, and just, make continual higher highs and higher lows. Cool. So watch out. I'm watching out for it. Hit the big red subscribe button if you want to stay updated with silver versus uranium. Silver, though, on the weekly time frame, still very much in control, and I am so bullish on silver and silver miners and silver junior miners in particular. Let me show you the silver junior miners just for a second, and then we'll get to gold, etc. SILJ. So I showed you silver. This is the silver junior miners. On the monthly time frame, we have almost broken the all-time high. And I did say, watch out for, as we get up to the all-time high on silver junior miners, this is listed on the New York Stock Exchange, that watch out for exhaustion on the smaller time frames. Okay, so the monthly looks really good. We are going to break the all-time high. We're going to get into much higher territory for the silver junior miners. Looking fantastic. On the weekly, it's getting into extremely overvalued. The volume, though, is off the chain. I mean, look at that. It's very good. On the daily time frame, let me get rid of that. Again, the volume is really good. We are extremely overvalued. On the 4-hour time frame, this is where I'm getting concerned, and concerned just for the very shorter term, because if I pop that on, that top line there is the all-time high. Okay, and I did say watch out for momentum loss towards the all-time high. It's the all-time high. It's going to be some kind of resistance. Okay, so you can still see we are making higher highs, but it is just starting to flatten out, and it hasn't broken through. So yeah, I'm expecting a touch here of around about 2170 on the silver junior miners. That will be the all-time high, and I'm expecting some kind of rejection and some lower prices coming. Where down to, we'll take a look when we get there, but that's what I'm expecting at this stage for the silver junior miners. That's all the silver stuff I want to do. Let's take a look at gold and platinum. Here is gold on the 4-hour time frame, price in USD, $3,676. We've made another brand new all-time high. Holy shit. Congratulations to all of you. However, as I have been saying, that is not preferable. Again, we're just losing momentum here. Okay. Just like a broken clock, I'll be right twice in the day, but I will be right in terms of, look, number go up and number go down. I have been saying that anywhere up to around about 3,750 is my personal highest point that we roughly get to, I think, before we see a decent retrace in gold. Okay, and it's still doing that thing where you're getting higher highs and lower highs on the relative strength index. Now, interestingly, that was doing that, but that flattened out. I thought that might have been, well, actually it did play out. You did see a bit of consolidation. Yeah, but we're still not breaking the highs here. So we're creeping to this, I think, 3750 area. I think that's around about it, 3750 to 3800, before we have some kind of larger dip, which I think will dip to lower than where we are now. Where we go down to, I don't know. It depends where we pivot from. Cool. So that's what I'm looking for, 3750 to 3800. Could I be wrong? Yes. Would you dollar cost average anyway? Yes. Daily time frame. Get rid of all this crap. See, look, very overvalued, overbought on the daily time frame. Yeah, so what goes up must come down, and it just feels a little bit momentum lossy. Cool. So yeah, around about there, and then we'll talk about where we can come down to, but we haven't pivoted, as I just said. Broken record. Let's see. Gold. Yeah, I'm done with gold. Let's take a look at platinum. Here is platinum on the daily time frame, USD, 1,400 US dollars. We're back out of the zone that I needed to see us get back out of in order to say potentially higher prices coming. We found resistance exactly there. I found some resistance at previous resistance right there at 1,430. That's the kicker for me. You've got to get through 1,430, and then, yeah, we'll talk Turkey. Okay? Short answer. On the weekly time frame, get rid of all of you. Yeah, see, I can still see it tick over from here. If you have a look at it on the weekly time frame, you're in extremely overvalued already. You can post a higher high. Again, you got to watch out for the bearish divergence. You can post a higher high, equal or lower high, and that'll just signal a bit of a turnaround. So I'm not ready to say yet that platinum is going to continue its journey upwards anytime soon. Okay, I've got to see it clear and hold. Bare minimum that 1,430. We're not there yet. Watch out for a potential tick over back down lower. Where to? Don't know. We'll see what happens when we pivot. That is platinum. I've got the stock market. The Australian stock market is about to open in. Ooh, I'll turn that off in about 1 minute. So I'm going to check what some of my favorite stocks are doing. As you know, I did the 9 amazing silver stocks. We'll take a look at what they're doing in just a few moments. That is platinum. Let's take a look at copper. Then we'll do crypto, precious metals, and I'll read all your comments, etc. Hit the big red subscribe button to join the family. Ooh, here's copper. Now it's starting to wake up. Copper on the weekly time frame, $4.73. We're out of this zone here. Thank the Lord. Above from this low and this high, we're out of the major resistance area right there at the $4.65. So we're picking our head above it. I'll be much more comfortable when we get above $5.10, but looking good so far. And if I have a look at the COPX, which is the Copper Miners Index, that's also just having its beautiful run still. Look at that. That's on the weekly time frame. That's on the monthly. So the miners are currently outperforming the copper spot. They're doing quite well. I think the all-time high will be broken eventually, but just like SILJ, the silver junior miners, I do think we're going to run into some momentum loss coming up. So if I show you here, is it right there? Yeah, I'll get rid of that so you can see it a little bit better. See that top white line right there just above? That is the previous all-time high. So just like the SILJ, we need to go into the daily and the 4-hour, etc., to see if there's any momentum loss. Now, at the moment on the daily, there's no real momentum loss happening. You're getting a successive higher highs, and you're getting higher highs on the relative strength index. You're also getting a beautiful volume coming in as well. Okay, so you're definitely onwards and upwards to that previous all-time high. I think it's going to make a play for that first before we have a tick over, which we will, of course. Number go up and down. $62.70 I'm looking at in US dollar terms. Let's pop into the 4-hour. Again, remember how I showed you on the SILJ? It was the 4-hour, which is just starting to show potential momentum loss. Yep, and you can see it here also on the on-balance volume. So on the 4-hour, we can creep up higher, but have a look here. Higher high, sort of more flattening out, and then that's a flattening out on the volume as well. The volume is not confirming the price action, at least on the 4-hour time frame. So it just says that things are just starting to, the train is starting to run out of coal, the car is starting to run out of gas, petrol. Okay, on the 4-hour time frame, yeah, same thing, right? Look at that. Okay, just starting to run out. So I think probably no higher than that $62.70 mark. It's still a decent move from here. I mean, we're talking, what's that? You could shoot another, I'd say maximum 15% from here on the COPX, the COPX. Okay, but yeah, momentum is starting to wane because, as you know, markets zig and zag, they go up and down. So watch out for that. Previous all-time high, and then probably some decent resistance there. Cool. But over the longer term, looking absolutely bloody fantastic. Let's take a look at, I'll go back to the screen. That's all the stuff I wanted to show you today in terms of the precious metals land. I'm just going to check what we've done. What am I looking at here? How's my account looking? Whoa, okay, that's a nice little jump. Okay, what have we seen? Did I get anything? Did I get one partially filled in my... Ooh, in my Uranium shares. All right, so I just bought into some Uranium, which is... I'll show you right here. Looks like I got a little bit of my thing. You can't see what I'm doing here. How much did I get? Let me have a look. Thanks for watching, people. You are the best. We've had a nice little jump. Wow. Okay, I'll show you all the charts in just a second. Let me go to here. And what did I get here? And how much did I get? Let's see. Looks like I got, okay, a decent amount there. I just bought into Uranium, which is the... uranium miners, the spot uranium on the Australian Stock Exchange. So we've just had a nice little move there. So I've just gotten into there. And if I show you the actual, show you the chart, you can actually see it right there. So that this is a delayed move, but we're around about sort of $9.80 at the moment. So that's a good little move. Fantastic. So I'm in, which is really good to see. Happy to be in a little bit more uranium. We've also seen, you can't see the following here. Let me go back here. I'm not going to show you my account because I don't want you to see everything that I've got and the amounts that I have it. That's private, but we've seen some nice little jumps just in the silver miners. So Sun Silver, for example, is up. SS1 is up $5, 5%, $5. Unico is making new all-time highs. I think that's up 9% for the day so far. We've just opened 9% up. Argent Minerals is up. We've got LDR is about to break. So when we're about 15 minutes from now, you'll see the live update. So let's go to some comments and queries, and we'll get to some Bitcoin and some crypto too. Thanks for watching, everyone. This is Good Morning Stackers. Comments. Daniel, GMS says, Daniel, trader at Stormrake. Yes, you are indeed. Trader Legionnaire. Yeah, NNE, yes, Nanonuclear Energy is up as well. Yes, very good. Neil says, gold would have to add over $400 to get to a 13% gain in one day. Exactly right. Gold, the big daddy, doesn't have those kind of moves unless you're in the big kind of blow off top. And if you're seeing daily moves, let me give you the hot tip for all the new stackers out there. If you ever see gold start doing 13% moves in a day, you got to start wondering what's going on. Are we getting to a decent kind of top kind of area? Same with, if you saw 20% moves in silver and that kind of thing, 30% moves in a day, which highly unlikely, but yeah, you've got to wonder, what phase are you in? Are you in the excess phase? Probably. Okay, so top tip: watch your percentage gains. Okay, now for mining stocks and things like that, 13%, that's nothing. Okay, and if we're talking crypto, 13% is like 1 minute. Let's see. Loading up. Yes. Good to see. Cool. Yep. Great. Morning, Joe. Morning, Jason. It's good to see you, my friend. CLRMF. Yes, I remember that one. Oklo. Yes, Oklo is another one that I'm watching. Let's see. Charts do not show the manipulation. It helps normalize it, in my opinion. Interesting. I told you I was concerned about its fast growth. You're talking about something else here. Gerald Draper says Strathmore plus uranium is one of my ponies. SUUFF. 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 Strathmore Uranium Corp plus thingo. Okay, cool. Ooh, where is this listed? I don't know where this is listed. On the OTC. Okay. It's a very small market. That's why he said it's a pony. It's a penny stock. It's a very small market cap. Under 10 million. Okay, cool. On the weekly, sure. On the daily, you'd be getting into extremely overvalued. Okay, I'm going to pop a little watcher on that one. Thank you. SUUFF. And I'll pop a little purple on it because that's for my uranium kind of plays. Thanks for that, man. I appreciate that. How high have we been? We've been as high as $11 and we're at 20 cents right now. Oh, I like that. That's the $1 mark from that high and that low. You've got a little bit of stuff to get through here. This could be a nice little penny stock to get into. You're in the ZAG zone at the moment, the expected resistance zone. So do expect resistance because market, number go up, number go down, right? This is the expected resistance zone from this high and this low. It's completely normal to find resistance here. Don't freak out if it does. Resisting here is strong resistance. Okay, so you don't want that. Resisting here is kind of like neutral. Now, resisting here is very weak resistance, and that's a good thing, right? That's good for the price. That's saying that people, are not willing to sell until it's much, much higher. That's a good thing. Okay, if you get through here, which is about 35 cents. That's really good. If you can creep through there and bounce off there, I would say, look, you're through that major resistance right there. I would say you'd be making a play for $1 easy, okay? And then the incredibly bullish change of market structure would be on the monthly time frame. If you ever clear and hold $1 for SUUFF, it is absolutely game on, and I will say that $11 would probably be broken at some point. That's probably a 10 times from there. Okay, that's ultimate bullish. Okay, breaking that dollar mark. First got to break 35 cents and then break the dollar. Looking great. Cool. Thanks for that. I'm going to keep that on my watch list and I will keep you updated. Everyone as well. That's another uranium play. Thank you. Let's see. Daniel has asked, has anyone seen what's going on with pump.fun streams? No. Tell us more, Daniel, please. Tell us more, my friend. Joe, how are you feeling about natural gas? Winter is coming. Tensions are tough. Fiat struggling. Not everyone makes their own gas. I can have a quick look at NatGas. Let me have a quick look at NatGas, and then we'll get into Bitcoin and crypto. NatGas. Spot. I'll use the Pepperstone one, sure. Here's NatGas on the monthly time frame. Okay, you're at a pretty key resistance right there, just eyeballing it for the first time. I don't really follow natural gas, actually. I'm just in too many other things, but there's your kind of major resistance zone, which you need to get through. So if you get through here, then you're looking pretty darn good. I do know that Craig Tapping over at Mastering the Markets, masteringthemarkets.com, is bullish on natural gas. He's bullish on uranium first, then natural gas, I think it is. But yeah, if you can clear through that $3.30 area on this natural gas spot price, the Pepperstone market, whatever this is listed on, Pepperstone, whatever the hell that is, and its market cap, it doesn't really have a market cap. But if you can get through here and hold through here, then yeah, looking really good. That's through major resistance. Cool. And then you've got this downtrend line. So the short answer is it's not showing yet that it's going to absolutely fly. Okay. But if you take it from this low and this high, where are we? We bounced at the 0.5. Okay, so the clear kicker would be getting through this downtrend line. That's pretty much all you need to do. So through there and through there. So something like this, something like that kind of thing would be great. Or you can even come down to the 0.618. That's weak support, but you can still do it. And then, yeah, something like that. And then through, and then you'd be looking really good. And obviously on the monthly time frame, if you crack through that $4.90 area, then that's uber bullish for natural gas. So short answer is, it's not saying, yes, it's super bullish, but your fundamental reason coming into winter, etc., you could be on a winner. That is natural gas. Let's take a look at all the other stuff. Cool, cool. Evening, Neil. Good to see you. Let's do some Bitcoin and crypto. We'll take a look at TOSHI, my favorite meme coin of all time. I'm not in it at the moment, but we'll take a look at where we need to be and ask all your crypto questions right now. If you have some chart requests, let me know. And we'll take a look. And Daniel asked before about, has anyone seen what's going on with pump.fun streams? Can you tell me more, Daniel, by what you mean by that? Can you give me a little bit more context on that? That would be really good to know. And you know what? I'll even ask Grok here. So let me go. You can't see what I'm doing here. What news is there about pump.fun streams? Sure. Let's see what Grok has to say. Anything? What news? Let's see. News updates on pump.fun. So recent updates. Pump.fun has seen a massive resurgence in its live streaming feature. All right, cool. Let's talk about that for a second. Pump.fun, the Solana-based meme coin launchpad, yes, has seen a massive resurgence in its live streaming feature. Ooh. After a controversial suspension in November, let me show you here. Let's go to here. Let's read it together. Some of it you won't be able to see. After a controversial suspension in November, in 2024, due to harmful content. Yes, okay, it wasn't well regulated. Aimed at pumping token prices, the platform cautiously revived streams in April for just 5% of users. Over the past week, streams paid out a staggering $20.5 million to creators. Okay, so it relaunched in April of this year. Cool. Anything particular? Launched Donuts integration after a new beta tool called Donuts allows streamers to connect instant donation features directly to their Pump.fun board sessions. This enables real-time tipping from viewers, making streams more interactive and monetizable. Should I do a Pump.fun stream? Maybe. Let's see, community. Okay, lots of different coins. Cool. Thanks for that little top tip there on Pump.fun streams there, Daniel. If you want to pop any further comments on that, I'd love to get you on the show as well. One of the amazing traders at Stormrake, stormrake.com. That'd be good, man. You should come on the show. So let's take a look at Bitcoin and crypto. This portion of the show is brought to you by Stormrake, stormrake.com. The greatest cryptocurrency full-service brokerage in all of the land. They operate in Australia and the US, the UK, New Zealand, and lots of other select countries as well. You get 2% brokerage fees for life when you sign up with my particular link. I'll pop that all around somewhere. Here is Bitcoin on the monthly time frame. Sure, price in USD, 115,245 US dollars on the weekly time frame. Cool. We have found we're still finding resistance so far in the ZAG zone. Cool. But this is the expected resistance range. So there's nothing to fear about this. Okay. Number go up, number go down from this high and this low. It's great to see that we found support there at that 107. Thank the Lord above. Okay. Remember from this low and this high. No, it wasn't from that low and that high. It was from that low and that high. It was at around about that 107. I think that was exactly at the 0.618. Yep, right there at the 0.618. That's the bottom end of the ZAG zone that you do not want to break through, and we did not break through it. And we're back above into some good area. That's my technical analysis, some good area. We're in the resistance zone, and that's completely normal here. So you do expect rejection after such a large move. Okay, so we had some resistance here at the top end of the ZAG zone, bang on that $113,500, which I had spoken about before from this high and this low. Now we're in that zone, and that's good to see. Good for Bitcoin, okay? Expect resistance somewhere here. As long as we remain, and I would like to find support at that $113,500. Okay, 1135000, and then we need to. This is we have to break up through that $117,500 mark. Okay, when we do that, that is really uber bullish. Okay, for Bitcoin, bullish over Bitcoin over the longer term, bullish on crypto over the longer term. Nothing telling me that we're going to zero or anything like that. And of course, the amazing COO of Stormrake, Bisha, who I'll be speaking to tomorrow in a pre-recorded video, believes that $200,000 Bitcoin is actually still a thing, which I have is still potential thing by the end of this year as well. Now, this is what he said about 6-7 weeks ago. Will he have changed his mind? You'll find out tomorrow. Okay, on that, watch out for that video coming out. But yeah, bare minimum, got to clear that $117,000, $118,000 mark. Then we'll talk about a new all-time high. If it does reject here, then what you don't want it to see, and this is subjective, you might want to see Bitcoin go a lot lower because you're just getting into Bitcoin for the first time. Let's just say you're bullish for Bitcoin over the next 5, 10, 20 years, you see it going to $1 million, as I do eventually down the track. You're like, no, I just got into Bitcoin. Okay, I've been doing other things. I want to buy much, much lower. Okay, well, subjectively, if you want to see that, you want to see 107,000 broken. That would be bearish for the very bearish for the market price of Bitcoin. Okay, because then you'd be going into lower highs. That would be pivoting as a lower high on the weekly, and then you'd be making a lower low on the weekly. That would be an official change to bearish market structure on the weekly time frame. Okay, so if you want that, that's what you want to see. You want to see it get below that $107,000 mark. Do I think it will do that? Not necessarily. Don't know. I just need to see it clear that 117,000 to be much more confident that we go from here. But we're in the expected resistance zone. Completely normal to see some kind of resistance here. What we want to see is it just form a higher low. Okay, so really something like this on the daily, form a higher low round about here, crack through there. Chef's kiss, looking really, really good. Onwards and upwards we very likely go. So that's Bitcoin. Take a look at general crypto. Here is others. So this is others, the altcoin market minus the top 10. We are sitting at $317.5 billion US dollars in terms of its market cap. Let me just show you, zoom out right here. I had been mentioning, and I don't think I mentioned it here on the channel, but I was mentioning a lot in the Mastering the Markets Academy that on the 4-hour and the 1-hour, we had been experiencing some bearish divergence. Okay, so you'd made a higher high. We got up to that 335 billion, but I said to people in that private thing, just watch out here because again, higher high, okay, and then the lower high on the relative strength index, and it was forming that bearish divergence, and we've seen that play out. But again, this is very normal, okay? Number go up, number go down. What I was noticing, and it's playing out so far, is that you had a rising wedge. Okay, this kind of rising wedge pattern, you broke out of it, but again, bearish divergence right there, and then that moved down. Now, from this low and this high, see on both of those time frames, look at that. So from this larger move, from that low and that high, we've bounced at the 0.382. That's good, really bullish bounce, okay? If you take it from this low and this high, it's a bounce of the 0.5. That's a neutral bounce. It's still good. It's very expected to find the bounce here. And if I take it from here, it's not really a pivot. Okay, so that one or that one is quite normal. Okay, what we want to see it do is find that. I don't like that daily. That daily annoys me. I'll stick to the 4-hour. What we want to now do is get back above through this resistance here. And I'll call it there, right there. See that? That's at that 325 billion. Get back through there. And then we'll talk about a further altcoin season, okay? On the 4-hour, on the relative strength index, we're coming down towards that bottoming area, so that's good. On the 1-hour time frame, you can see that we have hit extremely oversold, or overvalued, not oversold or undervalued, I should say, a couple of times already. Cool. So this could be the bounce right here. Just clear that 325, 326 billion, and then I'll say looking really, really good. Okay. Bullish on crypto, as I said, over the longer term. Just getting on the hourly time frame, just some successive lower highs and lower lows. And looks like we may have just... No, that's not a pivot right there. We'll probably find some resistance around about at that 320, that you want to do something like that. Then you form what is called a failure swing pattern. Then you form a lower high, then you form the first higher low, and then you break through that. That's the failure swing pattern, which is a good reversal pattern. And then we'll say, okay, looking good for crypto to continue onwards and upwards. Might be the bottom right here at that $312 billion area. Good. Let's talk about individual crypto, or might just check the Bitcoin dominance as well. Okay, Bitcoin dominance. We remember how we're talking about this bullish divergence. Okay, lower high, high on the relative strength index. Okay, that was saying that altcoins may have a bit of a dip. That's converging with the 4-hour relative bearish divergence I showed you on the others chart. If you just remember, we were just there, bro. Okay, but this is the thing. You want this number to go down. You want this to go down, this percentage to go down if you want altcoin season. You do not want it to break and hold above that 58.8, roughly 59% area. That would be bad news for your altcoins versus Bitcoin. It would be much better to be in Bitcoin if you start creeping up and doing that, okay? But it's okay. We're still making lower highs and lower lows at the moment, okay? This could just be a little bit of a bounce and then downwards we go, okay? That's what you want for your altcoin season. And one of the ultimate kickers here is that 57%, which we've been speaking about before. That blue horizontal line right there, you need that to be broken and held below, and that will signal massive altcoin season probably coming, okay? But that's massive support here. Resistance, if it becomes resistance again, looking really good. Cool. Let's take a look at some individual crypto. I'll start with TOSHI, and then I'll do some individuals, maybe XRP, a couple of others. Get your requests in right now. Here is TOSHI on the daily time frame, priced in USD. We're talking 0005969. As you know, I am currently out of TOSHI, and here's what I said I needed to see in order for me to be confident to at least dip my toe back in. I said we needed to break this area here. We need to break through that 00065 area and hold it. Okay, unfortunately, we haven't held that, so I don't get in on a break. I get in on a break and a hold of support. Okay, so did not get into it. It was great to see it head back up to this kind of 0007 area, but I needed to wait for it to at least hold a couple of candles, okay? We haven't held the support. We're back down through. Oh, cool. Now, I'm not saying it's going lower and lower from here, but you've just got to bear this in mind. We're not out of the woods yet for TOSHI. It is the meme coin of base chain. I will be back in if it starts closing and holding above that 0.00065 area. Okay, where are we on the 4-hour? Again, if you don't know what TOSHI is, it's the meme coin of base chain. Base chain is owned by Coinbase. Coinbase is run by the CEO, Brian Armstrong. Brian Armstrong has a cat named TOSHI. Cool. So if all the normies in an altcoin season are going to Coinbase to buy Bitcoin, Ethereum, all that other ones, TOSHI is just sitting like smack bang in their faces and they're like, I want to get into meme coins. It's the meme coin of base chain. I think it will do very well. Okay, that's my personal opinion. However, right now on the price action rather than the fundamentals, we are a very key area. Look at that, actually. Look, there's a bit of confluence right there. Very key area where we are right now. So it's holding a support on this larger downtrend line from all the way back to the Coinbase, not the Coinbase listing, after the Coinbase listing. That downtrend line there, it's holding a support, but back on the hourly, yeah, you can see there, it is underneath this uptrend line. So a little bit iffy at the moment. If I take a look at the relative strength index and particularly the volume as well, volume's not great. That's not good. Okay, we would like to see the volume come in, okay, because the volume is the psychology of it, okay? So the kind of the volume is kind of matching the price action, which is down. So what you want to see is a divergence. Now, I'll give you on the hourly time frame, you do have here some lower low, and you have a higher low on the relative strength index. But that's got to hold here. So yeah, pretty crucial area. 0006 got to hold that bare minimum. If you start crossing below, yeah, that 00059 area, not good. And the volume isn't supporting that move. So yeah, not out of the woods just yet. Need to see it clear and hold, just like this. On the hourly, do that, but instead this time actually hold it and not break through. Cool, so if you do that, back through here, hold it, and then break through, great. Then we'll talk about the higher prices, and the ultimate confirmation for me is going to be back through that 0.00075 area. Cool, cool. I'll be back in when the price tells me that I should be. Cool, cool. That is TOSHI. Let's take a look at another one. Let's take a look at ZBCN because someone did mention it. Here is ZBCN, ZBEC Network. We're looking at 0041. I haven't looked at ZBEC Network for a little bit, so let's get rid of all of this stuff here. And okay, all right. Here's where we are. Here's where we are. Good one, Joe. Get the volume going. Why is my volume not showing? Oh, because it's a crypto. The volume's not showing because it's the crypto general one. Okay, it's not a specific index, not a specific exchange listing. Okay, so from this high and this low, we've just been faffing around the expected resistance zone here. So yeah, nothing's telling me yet that we're going to make beautiful higher highs, etc., or break the all-time high until we get at least through 0053. When we get there, I'll be talking about higher prices coming. Cool. So clear through there. That's pretty much all you need to know. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's it. Exactly. From that high and that low, clear 0.0053. Hold it. And then I'll say, yeah, looking really good. Are there any signs along the way on the smaller time frame to say that we are showing some bullishness? Everything's in convergence at the moment, and we actually had a little bit of bearish divergence on the 4 hour time frame. So here, higher high, lower high. That's currently playing out. Where did we find support at from this low and this high? We're at exactly the 0.618. So from this low and this high, exactly at the 0.618. So that needs to hold. So do not cross below 004. Do cross and hold 0053, and we're looking really good. So not good. Holding below 004, really ultimately amazingly good. Closing and holding above 0053. Cool. So we're just in a range at the moment. Can't tell you either way. Again, bullish on crypto over the longer term. So, you know, a rising tide raises all ships. Let's take a quick look at another one. Let's take a look at the crossover crypto. Here is XRP on the daily, price in USD, $2.98. At the moment, we found resistance where you should find resistance at. Again, it's the expected resistance range. And that's from that high and that low. We found it basically exactly at the 0.5 Fibonacci right there at $3.15. So it's acting as resistance. It has fallen back through, okay? And it's fallen back through. If I show you on the 4 hour, are we down? Yeah, we're kind of at this downtrend line as well. I don't want to see that get back into this general area, please. Yeah, so we really want to bounce back and get through this zone here. Get through $3.25, and that'll signal nice strength from this high and this low. So yeah, don't want to see it cross below. What's my line in the sand? I don't want to see it get below that $2.90 area. So we're about 8 cents off that at this stage. Yeah, not through there, thank you. Not preferable. Cool. Because that's probably going to be from this high low and this high. Yeah, it sits around about there. It's actually technically at, look, I'll give it anywhere down to, it's about 2 cents difference. Anywhere down to about $2.87, that's okay. If it finds support there, that's fine. It's weak support, but it's still support. Okay, that's fine. Don't get through $2.87, start closing through there. So even that's saying the weak support is not even holding. That's not good for XRP. You would not good in terms of if you want to see number go up only. If you're looking to load up lower, sure, that's good for you. Yeah, but then you would expect some lower prices coming. Cool. Yeah, and clear that $3.25, and I'll say, oh, looking great. Onwards and upwards we go, and we'll break the all-time high. Cool, cool. That's XRP. Any others before we go? Does Daniel have any chart requests, if Daniel is still watching? Space Miner says, I was so early in crypto, I was in out before most people had a clue. Good on you, man. Should have followed the rules and held. Yeah, but this is the thing. You don't know what you don't know. Depends what year was that going back to. You were so early. Was it like, were you in crypto in 2013 like me? Were you trading alts in like 2015, or were we talking like 2017, 2018? You don't know what you don't know. And you don't know, is this run the final run and then crypto's done? You're never going to know exactly. No one has a crystal ball. You can't just assume the 4-year cycle happens every 4 years and all that kind of stuff. So, you get in, you get out, you make your profits, and then you move on to something else. And, you can't kick yourself. You can't kick yourself of just buying something and holding it forever, because you don't know. The market is a cycle, from overvalued to undervalued and back again. Let's see. You think it's in an accumulation stage for ZBCN? You could be right. Neil says, I was hacked out of crypto about 8 years ago. I'm so sorry to hear that. We've all been there. Every single one of us. You're probably not a crypto native unless you've been hacked or rugged or a combination of both. Space Miner says, Jason, I made huge returns early on. Me too. Thought we had hit the technological rift for the next while and liquidated everything. Came back a few years and discovered you could have retired. Yeah, we've all got that story, man. Someone says new now ISO. What is that? Let's see. At Stormrake, AERO. Okay. You're bullish. So Stormrake at Stormrake Doge. As in Doge. So you're bullish on Doge. You're bullish on AERO. Okay, let's take a look at AERO and Doge. Great idea. Thank you for the requests, Daniel. The amazing trader at Stormrake. Stormrake.com. One of my amazing brand partners, who I'm going to quickly tell you about before I get to Doge and AERO. This is Stormrake, Stormrake.com. Short answer is they're a full-service cryptocurrency brokerage operating many countries around the world. Why would you want a full-service cryptocurrency brokerage? If you're a crypto native, you need access to very deep liquidity. You want to buy a whole bunch and you don't want to jack up your price or spend weeks and weeks getting in small amounts, little bits at a time. Get deep liquidity at Stormrake, Stormrake.com. They have access to so many markets, it's ridiculous, okay? You're also buying at the market price. There are no hidden buy and sell spread fees. Now, as a crypto native, you know what I mean. This terminology you understand. There's no hidden buy and sell spread fees, okay? They don't tack on a little bit on the top and they take a little cream off the bottom when you're selling. No hidden fees. They just charge a flat fee and that's it. Okay, now that fee is currently 3% when you sign up at stormrake.com. However, if you sign up through my referral link, you get 2% brokerage fees for the life of the account. That's a 33% discount for the life of the account. It's bloody amazing, okay? Coinbase, if you go to buy crypto on Coinbase, I'm calling you out, Coinbase, and some of you other ones like CoinSpot and this one and that one and all that. I'm calling you all out. You already charge these kind of fees, like a 2% fee, plus when you've got the hidden buy and sell spread fees, it's going to equal 2% or more. Okay, and they're not even doing it all for you. You're still having to log in and do the thing, and so press the buy button, the sell, all that. These guys do it for you, full service. They're like a stockbroker. Give them a call. Give Daniel a call. Give Bisher a call. Give one of the brokers a call. Send them an email. Jump on the live chat and say, I have an account. Can you buy me $10,000 Bitcoin right now? They go, leave it with me. You don't have to press any buttons. It's amazing. It's full service. They can also do full custody for you if you want. But if you're like, yeah, not my keys, not my crypto, fine, they'll send it to your nominated address as well. So full service. It's amazing. Now, as a crypto native, you want that because you're time poor. Also, you might have a lot to put in through your self-managed super fund, for example. Have you not considered putting your self-managed super fund or a portion of it into crypto? Okay, you might have a lot in your super. Or your, what's the other one? The 401k. I might ask Daniel, actually, while you're watching this, Daniel, can international investors, so say US investors, because you do operate in the US, can they put stuff in their 401k, or is that only open to Australian people with their superannuation? Let me know. But you need access to deep liquidity. Now, what happens when you become a full-on crypto millionaire? Can I just give you a little hot tip? Not a little hot tip, a little look into my life. I was once a crypto millionaire and I didn't sell out. big, big regret. I was literally once, I looked at my screen, my portfolio, and I had $1 million worth of crypto. Didn't sell out, rode it all the way down. Bad news bears. Am I learning my lessons? Hopefully I am. But I'll tell you now, if I wanted to sell that $1 million worth in one go, okay, I would go to somewhere like stormrake.com. Why? Deep liquidity. So have a think about the future you, okay? What happens when you're a crypto gajillionaire and you want to get out quickly? You might not think you need to get out quickly. What happens if you have to get out quickly for some reason, okay? You need access to deep liquidity. So sign up with my link. Okay, now that's as a crypto native. As a crypto newbie, just get your friends and family to sign up for Stormrake, stormrake.com, okay, using my link, because they don't want to have to learn how to do it all. Get Stormrake to do it for them, okay? It's the best way to get into crypto. Stormrake, stormrake.com. Get it? Got it? Good. Let's take a look at AERO and DOGE. Let me go back here, and then we'll get out of here. AERO, I think this is on my list. It's not even on my list. AERO. I'm watching so much crypto. You can't watch them all, can you? Let's go AERO. Let's take a look. Coinbase. We'll go that one, that one for S&Gs. And, it is listed on, is it listed on Binance? It is listed on Binance. That's the perp though. Let's just start with some of those listings. Let's go the Coinbase listing. This goes all the way back to... That's pretty decent. So here's, look at AERO. Man, that's some really good relative strength. Okay, this is AERO going back to February of 2024. This is April. No, that's no. Okay, so this is the Coinbase listing is the best one that I can look at. Here is AERO on the monthly time frame, price in USD, $1.30 roughly. The Coinbase listing, wow. If I do a little bit of relative strength against Bitcoin, I think that might be showing some really good relative strength. Bear with me a second. If I go RSC, relative strength comparison, this is a tool you can use to see what the thing you're looking at is doing against another thing that you're pairing it against. Okay, so for example, if I pop in the settings, the inputs, I'll pop it against Bitcoin, BTC. And then we'll look at that chart. Is that going to show me? It might not on the monthly. There we go. On the weekly. So weekly, it's down a bit. On the daily. Daily, it's showing nice relative strength against Bitcoin. That's good too. So I'll just pop you away for a second. Not the stotch. Not you, and go back to you for a second. So let's take a look just without any of the other bells and whistles. You have a previous high here. What's that? Of $2.35. That's the major resistance, next major resistance zone that we're looking at. On the weekly time frame, what it's been doing really nicely, it has been making successive higher highs and higher lows. So you're in a bullish market structure at the moment. Good. You are bullish on it until it starts making bearish market structure. Okay, so higher highs, higher lows. Great. Look at those pivots. Fantastic. There's nothing saying yet. There's nothing saying that AERO is looking bearish on the weekly time frame. So looking good. Looks like it's going to make a play for the previous all-time high at this stage. So I'll show the opposite side of it just in case. If, for example, we have a bit of a crypto dump, don't know why we would, but if we do, that's your line in the sand right there. That's at around about $1.06. So that would be saying, okay, you're making a lower high, okay, and then it's pivoting and making a lower low, okay. That would be a bearish change of market structure on the weekly. But I'm not saying it's bearish. Let's take a look at the daily. Let's see. Yeah, it's just making successive higher highs and higher lows. Where are we here from this low and this high? You've bounced beautifully off the 0.5 Fibonacci. So it's just kind of par for course at the moment for AERO. Looking really nice. What's the area I need to see it creep through? That's probably sitting right about there. I bet it is. From this high and this low. Yeah, it is, exactly. Look at that. Isn't it amazing how it works? All right, so this is textbook bullish structure here. So looking fantastic for AERO at the moment. It just come up to its area of major resistance, or its expected resistance range, the zag zone right here. So yeah, that's fine as long as you can clear through that level, and that level is $1.35. Clear and hold $1.35, and you're looking good for another higher high. Okay, looking nice. Yeah, once you get here, I'd be watching out, around that previous all-time high a couple of times. The other thing you must do is you've got to check what your crypto is doing against the big boy, which is Bitcoin. So we did that on the relative strength, but I just also want to show you get rid of all of that for the moment. I just want to show you the pairing if I can find it. So give me 1 second. AERO, BTC. Upbit crypto MEXC. That's kind of the best one. I'm going to the Upbit one. That's the only one that I can see, so I'll add that one. It might not be as good a... Okay, so this goes back to August. Yeah, here's the problem. Okay, so that's a real... not a good time frame one. Okay, so this is AERO versus Bitcoin. But on the... Yeah, I really can't show you that. I'll go back here and I'll have to do it this way. I don't prefer to do it this way, but I'll do it that way. So here's AERO versus Bitcoin. And the question is, the kicker is, if AERO is not outperforming Bitcoin, then why be in AERO? Why be in any altcoin if it's not outperforming Bitcoin? Just buy the big boy, okay? But again, what you can see, it's basically in convergence, which is really, really good, okay? And, I like that volume on the OBV. Okay, it looks like the volume might be preceding the price. It looks like the volume is ticking higher than... Yeah, okay, so it's looking quite good. So basically, higher highs, higher lows. Higher highs equal lows, higher high, higher low, which is good. And let's see on the Fibonacci. Okay, finding support within the expected support range. Great, if you can get out through there at that, whatever that ratio is right there. Yeah, looking good. Cool. So looking good for AERO. I like it. What would be the ultimate kicker is if you can start creeping above from this high and this low. Let me get rid of you. Yeah, start creeping up through this number right here, whatever that is, the 12. Start getting through and holding through 12, and then that's looking really good for a continued AERO to be outperforming Bitcoin again. The thing you're in has to be outperforming Bitcoin. So yeah, looking quite good, moving in lockstep with each other at the moment. So that's looking good. And I am liking this volume in here as well. So yeah, cool. So far, so good for AERO. I'm going to pop that on my watch list for sure. Thank you for that, Daniel. You can never watch every single crypto, and I love when people give me crypto tips. That would be really good. Thank you, mate. And of course, because Daniel from Stormrake mentioned it, it's one of the crypto that you can purchase through Stormrake, stormrake.com. Let's do Doge. Daniel loves Doge. Let's see. Here is Doge, and then we'll get out of here. Okay, we're going really long today. It's a long one. That's what she said. Here is Doge on the weekly time frame. USD 26.27 cents. I might be noticing some potential bearish divergence here, but we'll pop into the smaller time frame. But this is the weekly. Let's have a look. Weekly, I'm going to have to get rid of you. Yeah, we won't put you on the log scale. Weekly, volume is nice. Weekly, yeah, looking good. We're through that area there. We're above that max pain. Remember, I had that in ages ago, that max pain level. That's going to be a Fibonacci, I think, from this high and this low. No, it wasn't. It was from a different one. Don't remember why, but it was in a max pain level. We found support there. Actually, I'll pop it right there. That's why, because that was the linear chart, not the logarithmic Fibonacci chart. So that max pain actually has to go down there, and we found exact support right there at that 14-cent level. So good. And if you take a look here again from this high and this low, which is your major fib, you want to get through and hold above the expected resistance range. Looks like we might be doing it. We're making a play for it at the moment. Now here's where I need to pop into the, shorter term timeframes just to see if there's any bearish divergence playing out here. And I'm going to bet you there is, probably on the 1 hour or the 4 hour time frame. Okay, but on the weekly, look, you're making a successive, you're back into higher highs and higher lows now, so that's good. Cool. So, right, higher high, higher low, higher high. It just needs to keep forming a higher low and then get through that level there. So what's that, through 30 cents, and you'd be looking really quite good. I think Doge eventually goes to $1. I think it can go to a lot higher than here in a crypto run. Let's see, any divergence off of here. Equal high, 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 that's good. Yeah, I'm going to pop into that daily and the 4. It's happened on the daily. Okay, I knew it was looking bearish on the daily time frame. Okay, a little bit bearish. We have probably pivoted here. Is that a pivot? That's a pretty decent spike. So as long as we hold above, so what you can see here is higher high. That definitely looks like a pivot here. That's pretty spiky. And then you've got that lower high on the relative strength index. So I'm going to say, on balance of probability, watch out for a few more extra days of at least not breaking this high here, maybe consolidating or a little bit further down. I preferably don't want to spend much time back in this expected expected resistance range. You know, you've broken out of it. You don't preferably want to go back into it, but yeah, that's okay. On the daily, on the 4 hour, yeah, 4 hours actually looking all right. On the 1 hour time frame, let's see what we can see. 1 hour, there's no bullish divergence yet, but you have found that exact support again, like roughly at that sort of top end of that zag zone right there. So as long as we remain above that 26 cent kind of area, yeah, looking all right. Just expect maybe some lower prices in the next couple of days because that bearish divergence I showed you. And from this high and this low, you got to get through around about 29 cents in order to say onwards and upwards from here. I'll go back to the big macro though. Here's the macro on this is the quarterly time frame. Look at that. It's looking, it's looking quite nice. Okay, as long as if you can just creep through that 48 cent 50 mark, that's your big kicker. Okay, so on the quarterly time frame, get through 50 cents and then you'll go, ho, crypto baby. And then, yeah, I mean, in this next run, I mean, that's 70 cents. In this next run, it is going to it'll be the meme of all memes when Doge hits $1. Elon Musk will meme the ever-loving SHIT out of that. He'll post about Doge at $1, no problem. Okay, that might even send it higher. Okay, so yeah, watch out for $1 Doge party, which I think over the longer term is definitely coming. Okay, again, if Black Swan events and all that, if crypto continues higher, I don't see it why it won't over the longer term. Cool, that's Doge. I think that's all I need to talk about today because we've gone quite long. Final comments, and then we shall get out of here. Back, glad you're all still here. At Stormrake, yes. Fantastic. Answering some questions. Good on you, Daniel. Do you provide end of financial year statements? Yes, and all relevant tax information as well as account statements at your own convenience. Yeah, exactly right. Let's see. You got to dance this one out early. No worries, Gerald. Let's see. Joe, that's tough, man. Yeah, crypto millionaire parachuting with heavy bags. Yeah, you live and you learn, my friend. Yes, so these are just some coins you're personally eyeing at the moment with altcoin season on the horizon. Love it, Daniel. Thank you, my friend. Yeah, we're going to get out of here, my lovely, lovely people. You have watched Good Morning Stackers. We've gone over the normal hour kind of thing, but we're having so much fun here on YouTube and on X where we talk precious metals. We talk crypto on the live show as well. I'll be chatting with Bisha from Stormrake, stormrake.com. Tomorrow as a pre-record. You'll get that sometime tomorrow. I'll probably release it on the same day because when you're talking about prices, you've kind of got it. Once you record it, you kind of got to get it out. Space Miner says, appreciate the breakdowns and the sweet deal with Stormrake. It is the greatest deal. I mean, full service, the whole deal, 2%. You know what to do. I'll put a link somewhere below. Finally, people, you are going to grab your tasty beverage. I grab my tasty beverage. We slurp them synchronously together. It's the slurp heard around the world, the synchronized slurp, and we dance it out at the end as well. You know what? I've got to find my music. Where's my music? That's my sound effects. Show camera effects. Yeah, cheeky bugger. Where have we gone? Where are we? There we are, right there. Excellent. You get to dance it out with me because, ladies and gentlemen, you have watched.
Good morning, Stack.
Oh yeah, we're feeling fine.
Good morning, Stack.
It's podcast time.
Grab it.
Grab a tasty beverage. Let's get in the groove.
Let's do that.
Synchronize.
3, 2, 1, go.
Now we're on the move.
Thanks for watching. Stay safe, stay informed. Join the Silver Investor Club. Put a link below, and I will see you really soon. Bye. Have a great day.
Podcast time.